Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Joseph. I'm pretty excited about this video because I get to recreate a scene that Brady created on his channel. He did like a full breakdown and I wanted to recreate it, but I was looking at the equipment that I had and I didn't want to risk them getting wet or eventually getting damaged. And luckily, it was more like a coincidence. Luxceo also messaged me and said that they wanted to send me one of their lights. And so I went to their site and I chose the P120, which is being marketed or advertised as a waterproof light. And so I just thought, if I don't want to risk using my lights and this is already a waterproof light, then this is going to be the best chance for me to recreate the scene and then just have my own go at it, my own experience, and learn from it and see what I can create on my own. So I'm sure the first question is, did this light survive? And yes, it did. That is what I'm actually using to light up the scene right now. So I've broken down my entire cob light with a softbox and I'm just using this tube light to light the scene. So I feel like if you're also an upcoming YouTuber and you're looking for an affordable light that you can use to light your talking head scenes just like this one, I also have it like really close. That is something that if I wanted to do with my cob light, it means that I probably be getting the softbox in the shot, but this is a very thin tube. It's quite long, so it's creating a nice wrap around light. It's also very soft, and it comes with this handy remote that you can use to quickly adjust, the light. So you have your power button, your plus and minus. You also have some presets. You can just wiggle through that and see the options that it gives you. But the more handy bit of it is the Bluetooth app that it comes with. So this is the app. So for example, if I just move this all the way down, you will see that this light has gotten really cool because I'm in the blue side of it. And then I can also just go all the way into a warm tone and you can see that it's giving me like a very warm tone. I can also go into the color tab and this is where like the full RGB mode sets in. You can see that it's giving me some saturated blues in my skin. I tap on green, it's just gonna go green. I tap on red, it's gonna do the same thing. Currently it's all at 100%. If I come down on the percentage, you can see that the reds are not going to be as saturated. If I click on the blue as well, you can see that it's not going to be as saturated. So let me just click on white, and I like to set it in the middle so that I have like a balance between like a warm and cool tone. If I show you this light, so you can see that that's what I'm using to light the scene right now. Switch to video and tap on record. You can see that I can see the beads, but it's still giving me a soft light. I think it's just because of the size of the light, but I feel like if they had like a more opaque silicone covering it, it would create even more of a soft light. Now the interesting thing about this light is, like I said, it's being marketed as a waterproof light, and it was a chance for me to get it wet and try it out and also recreate the scene that Brady created. So there's a few things that I noticed that Brady did. I know he was using much stronger lights, and so for example, the light that was casting against his subject's eyes, he bounced the light from the back of the car through the rear view mirror, and then that just casted light onto the subject's face. But I didn't have a strong light to do that, so I just had a gobo, and I put a slit through that and then just used that to light up my subject through the front mirror, the windshield. I just shot the light through that to create that split of light on her face. And then I also used this P120 as my main light, colored it blue just to create that color contrast, because we had two other lights in the back shining through the driver's side of the window and then the rear window. But there were some issues with the windows, and the issue is that they were tinted, and because they were tinted, they were stopping a lot of light entering the frame. But thankfully the driver's part of the window wasn't as tinted as the rear, and so we're able to get like light to shine through and graze into the car. But the back part, because of how dark it wasn't really getting a lot of light, and so I added another light from the back to shine into the car, but I still wasn't lifting up the shadows. I didn't want to put another light in the car because it will look too lit, and so I just had to stick with this plan and just hopefully get really nice textures out of the raindrops that were falling on the window. So for the main light, I dedicated this P120 to it and gelled it blue just to have a spread of blue color in the scene. And then also we had a street light, an existing street light that was casting like a warm tone across the shot, but it wasn't really powerful, it wasn't really direct. Again, because of the tints of the windows, we're not getting a lot of that light in there, and so we created our own by having two strips of LED lights just shine through and enter the frame. But again, because we're also not very strong LEDs, especially with the back, we're not able to get like a strong light coming through. But I really like the beads of what water droplets that were forming on the driver's side of the window, and because it was backlit, we were seeing the textures in there. It looked really good, and I really loved the way those shots came out. I went in with a very simple camera setup. I was just doing handheld, and I initially started with my Sigma 24-70 art lens, but then I realized it wasn't allowing a lot of light into the scene because the maximum aperture is 2.8. So later on I switched to the 50 1.4 and shot at 1.4 just so I can allow a lot of the ambient light into the scene. I also attached my Atomos so that I will have more manageable files to deal with when I'm editing these files in Premiere Pro. So I was shooting in C-Log 3, like I said, and I was just doing handheld shots throughout. I was just moving slightly, like moving in a little bit just to get a little bit of motion. Now move back out a little bit. I also pan to the right just a little bit, pan to the left a little bit just to create motion. I went into the car to get some detailed shots. I also was shooting through the passenger side of the window to get like a scene of someone looking at her, or just to show you more of where she is, just add a bit of the environment to it and make it look realistic. I know that Brady rolled down the passenger side of the window, but I just wanted to have that texture in there just so it adds a bit more haze to the shots, because again the contrast in the car was a little bit too much for me and I didn't want that to be the case, and so shooting through that just helped reduce a bit of that sharp dark contrast that we're going to get in the scenes. Now on top of that, I know that we're creating our own fake rain and everything, but it actually began to drizzle, and so we had to stop, and it wasn't giving us the effect that we wanted, and we had to turn it back on. And we also had to mount these umbrellas to show that equipment from getting wet, because again the only equipment that we had was this P120, which is marketed as being waterproof. I didn't know so much about the other lights, but thankfully they survived. They're working, all the lights are working, and this was my first attempt, so be gentle in the comments, guys. I'm going to leave the sequences that I put together for you guys to watch. We'll first start off with the C-Log files and also the sound effect, and I'm just going to jump straight on and show you the complete video as well. So that's it for today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and remember, don't ever give up.
You're